Greetings, YouTube. Today, I'm going to talk about a Manticore. And this is a Manticore from Safari Limited. Whoops. For Safari Limited, the Manticore, or Manticora. I don't know what language that is. Part of code 802629. Now, I'm showing it to you in the packaging, because this is how I got it out of the box. And I was actually very, very impressed with this packaging. It's more packaging... And well, more packaging than I'm used to getting in with the figure, and it's very well designed. So we're going to take it off. I don't really need the packaging because the figure stands up quite nicely on its own without any packaging to support it. But in the packaging, it does support the wings. In shipment, you're less likely to have them scrunched in. And this is one of the great fusion type creatures that you get out of the Greek mythology and early Dungeons and Dragons. So you have a lion, a full-fledged lion body, a male lion from the look, with the not only with a penis sheath but with the mane, with a rather intense appearance on his face, with a furrowed brow. Interestingly, his mouth isn't open. I was kind of surprised with that. I was kind of expecting you'd have a Manticore figure, you'd give him a slightly more aggressive position, but he is definitely standing his ground. And you have these really cool dragon wings, which are perfectly suitable to a fantasy setting because they're way too small for a creature this large, but who cares? And then you have this awesome scorpion tail. Man, that is just so cool. I had to own this as a big fan of the classic D&D monster. Sculpting overall is decent. It's not the best I've ever seen, but I do like the fact that, you know, because of the standing posture, the ribs are less noticeable on this side than in this side because his skin is being bunched here and stretched there. So I appreciate that detail. The legs all look very appropriate, and this could have been the model from an actual lion. They may have just used a lion and repurposed the main mold and made an additional one. Wouldn't surprise me. They may have molded this separately. For example, the lion with the tail may have been one mold, and the wing, because there definitely is a seam in here. If you can see it, it's kind of a slightly jagged line right along there. So I think they may have put the wings on separately. So you're looking at two separate molds, one for the wings and one for the body with the tail. And in the classic D&D, I've seen Manticores like this, but I've also seen Manticores that have a tail that flings spikes. And that's kind of cool because at one time, it was one of the few monsters that you were going to encounter that had a missile weapon, I mean, other than a breath weapon. And I found that kind of cool, but they being spikes and not particularly large, they weren't the greatest weapon, particularly against higher level characters. But the Scorpion Sting can definitely be dangerous to everyone, particularly because if you're an evil GM, you can vary the types of poison and the intensity of poison, so you can suit it to the challenge at hand. I just left the tag here just to show for the video. As soon as this video is over, I'm going to cut it off and throw it away. But I really like this figure, and I think it's a very well done. I mean, it's not quite as well sculpted as some of the Popo figures I've seen. This falls into the same category as the Chimera I reviewed not long ago. And they're both appropriate. Now, if you were going to throw this in a game, and you were just like saying, put this on the table with 25mm characters, who's going to come up to his chin? This would be a major encounter. You'd be talking about the Uber Manticore, the vampire god. I mean, the Manticore god. So it's a massive creature, but I think that it would have an interesting effect on characters. There's a giant Manticore! Or even a Manticore that had been enlarged temporarily by some kind of a mage or sorcerer or scion or something. That could also be very, very cool. But overall, it's a nice figure. It's a little less dynamic than I might like. I might want the jaw open. I might want the crouching a little bit more, so he's a little more aggressive than he is. But that's just me. That isn't necessarily, you know, it's purely a subjective thing going on there. But I like this character. I saw him online initially. Interesting, while searching for Manticores on Amazon, and I found this figure, and I bookmarked it so I can order it later. I just started searching around using the term Manticore, which is one I encountered elf porn. What Manticores have to do with elf porn, I do not know. It was very strange in my opinion. But this has been the Safari Limited Manticore, a figure that I really quite like, and I'm glad is in my collection.